Hey everybody, time once again for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So today is Thursday, but we actually got Rafa for half the day today. He came in and worked from about 7 to noon, so managed to get a few things done here. So let's talk about what Rafa did, and then we'll get into the new project and what happened on this guy. But in the meantime, couple things. He mostly got installed the clamp for the battery. I think he got this installed. I don't remember if he installed the... Yeah, he didn't quite get to installing. There's a stud that goes in the back there where you see that hole that gets welded from the floor, but he got this one welded in. So I think what happened was when Brian Washburn and team built this car, they knew that this was going to be an EV, and I don't think they knew, and I don't know that I mentioned that the car as an EV, it still gets a 12-volt battery. So you wouldn't really think that it would because it's already got like 120 volts or whatever, but it does actually get a regular car battery, and so this battery runs pretty much everything like regular car stuff. So it runs, the headlights, the turn signals, emergency lights, dash lights, pretty much all that stuff runs off this. And then the 12-volt car battery is in turn charged from the bigger battery. And this thing here on the right, this big deal with the fins on it, that's what actually like charges and maintains the charge in the 12-volt car battery. So it takes the high voltage from the box that's under here and the other box that's in the front of the car, and it converts it to something that will charge a 12-volt battery. So anyway, long story short, the car didn't have the various clamps and stuff in it to hold this battery in, so Rafa worked on installing those today. And we also we realized that we didn't have the carpet on the back of the back seat, so we pulled that out and brought it over to Octavio, and he installed it. And I don't even know where that is right now. So I would show it to you, but I won't show it to you because I don't know where it is. It may be in our container. But anyway, so that happened today. And then I feel like Rafa also did a little something on the Turquoise bus, but for the life of me, I don't remember what. So I think, well, let's see. I think one thing that he did was he put in the little, so I don't know why, I've never really understood this. So on the pop-out windows on buses, so the front 3 side windows, so 1, 2, 3 are pop-outs, and the rear ones where the latch bolts on, I can probably show you a little easier on this side. Where the latch bolts on, there's a little triangular spacer that goes underneath the latch here between the latch and the body to kind of move the latch out. I don't know why the back ones need that, but the other ones, so in other words, like that one, and then this one behind me and the other one here, those don't use that. So I don't know why. On these, the pressing is in the body that kind of spaces that out. On the ones back there, for whatever reason, it's sort of flat, and so there's a little spacer that goes in there that moves it out so it's the correct distance from the body, essentially. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a mystery to me. If anyone knows why they didn't do that, I guess it was probably just a manufacturing thing that would have been hard to put that pressing in that area, but who knows. Anyway, he did that, and I think there might have been some other little thing he did on here today, but that was pretty much it. So he was just here for part of the day, like I said. So I needed to move the 61, which is pretty much just waiting on a gas tank at this point. So I did go ahead and put on its new Firestone wide white tires, which I had mounted up yesterday. I think I showed them on yesterday's video. So today I went ahead and threw those on so the car could be a roller again. Didn't put on the hubcaps because the fronts have to come back off for installing the gas tank so we can get up underneath there and connect the fuel line and so on. It's just kind of easier to do all that from the side. So hubcaps aren't on, but she's a roller again. So that's about the only thing that happened to that one. let me talk about the double cab, and then I will finally get to the new projects that came in here. So this car, I pretty much spent all day working on the wiring and actually made pretty good progress. So see some things wired down here that haven't been actually installed yet, but yeah, the trick with these is to pull out the gauge cluster, and then you actually have pretty nice access to everything in here, and you can just kind of sit here and do the wiring with not much in your way, and not having to like lay on your back and wire up underneath the dash there like on an earlier bus. So I will say this is one thing kind of nice about a bay window, is being able to do the majority of the wiring sitting here on my bottom, reaching through a relatively big opening here. So I got I don't know, probably like 80% of the wiring done under here today. What I still have to do, which is this huge bundle of wires here, that just happened at the end of the day, was I went ahead and mounted up the turn signal switch and the ignition switch. So that's this big wad of wires here that I just literally, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, pulled those through here after mounting them up here. So that'll be the next order of business here, is to go ahead and wire all this stuff up and get it all looking neat and organized. And then the last thing is that the actual gauge cluster will go in and get hooked up with its idiot lights and so on. So yeah, pretty happy with that progress today. This is of course a Wolfsburg West wiring harness, which is almost exclusively what we use, and it's really nice. I really like their wiring harnesses. I had to change the length of only a handful of wires that were a bit long. We're just anal about wiring here, so if one wire is too long by an inch, we're going to cut an inch off it and make it run nice and neat next to its neighbors. So we're just kind of like that. Nothing wrong with how it comes. It's just we're kind of sticklers for details, and we like wires to be routed nicely and make nice curves and be kind of even with the wires running adjacent to them. So anyway, yeah, real good progress on this one today. Now that the dash is in this thing, you know, we can move really fast actually. So that's that. Okay, now without further ado, let's talk about this other project that came in here. So what we have here is a 63 Beetle, and as you can see, it's a ragtop. This came in literally about maybe 2 o'clock this afternoon. And so the owner of the car, I think he acquired the car pretty recently, and he's wanting us, at least initially, to rebuild his motor and transmission. He wants to make sure that the car is reliable. He wants a little bit more power. And so I don't know if it's numbers matching or not, but it does have a 40 horse in it. And so what I'm proposing we do, which is my favorite thing to do to 40 horses, is to make it into a 1385 and, you know, get a few more cc's, few more ponies out of it, and it's going to run great. And then the transmission will go through it all, make sure it's shifting very smooth and so on. So that's the first order of business, engine and transmission. He does have kind of on his long list a bunch of other things that he wants done that we may or may not do this time around while the car is visiting the shop. But again, starting with engine and transmission. The paint is actually pretty nice. It does have some, you know, areas on it that aren't great, but overall it's actually pretty nice. And I think once we get this thing polished up, we'll probably bring in our guy that we use, Robert from Custom Corrections, and let him do his magic. I think this thing is going to look really good. I mean, the car looks very straight when you just look at the reflections on it. I think it's going to polish up really nice. And, you know, there's like a little dent there and stuff like that. But, you know, he doesn't want a show car or, you know, a trailer queen. He just wants a really nice driver. And I think once we get this thing polished up and take care of some other details, it's really going to be a gorgeous driver. Rebuilt engine and transmission. It's going to be, you know, very reliable, have a little bit more power. At some point, hopefully, he'll have us go ahead and put in a proper front windshield weather strip here with the trim on it. Somebody at some point put in a cowlick one, which doesn't really go with the rest of the car. He does also at some point want us to redo the interior. It's got kind of a later style basket weave interior in it now. And I think he's got some original panels that are in kind of like a oxblood color that he wants the interior redone in that. And so that's going to look amazing. And then some other little things. Somebody put some gauges in the dash, but I don't know, looks like maybe a homemade gauge panel here. So we're going to do something with that. And I don't remember if he has a radio for it, but there's a giant hole in the dash now that at least at some point we'll hopefully have be able to put something in there for him. So yeah, there you go. Really nice looking car, really nice customer. He's actually a Porsche technician, and so guy knows his cars, but doesn't have time to work on this one himself, so he brought it into us. So yeah, we'll probably go ahead and he's actually going to come by, I think tomorrow late afternoon, and we're going to go over the project, and then we'll probably go ahead and start removing his engine and transmission. Probably not tomorrow, but maybe like Monday first thing we'll go ahead and start doing that. And this is actually a good spot where this car is sitting, which is why I swapped it with the convertible. Because we can pull the engine and transmission out of this car and it can stay here kind of in this corner and not really be in the way of any other projects. Because once the engine and transmission come out, it's going to be sitting for a while those get rebuilt. So this is kind of a good spot. It's not in the way of any other projects. This one I need to pull it out and drive it. This one's got to go to Octavio's. This one we need to put the lids on it and take it out and drive it. So we need to be able to move cars around, so that one will be sitting there for a while and not be in the way. Anyhow, that is it for today, guys. So we will see you again tomorrow for the Friday episode. Thanks for watching.